Welcome back, my Duelist friends. Casual Duelist here, and thank you so much. The fact that this video is up means that we actually hit the 500 subscriber mark. This is like the 500 sub video. A couple important things about it. I know I kind of joked about wanting 1,000 by the end of the year. And at the beginning of this year, I actually said I'd settle for 5 at the end of the year. Guys, it's April. It's April, and you guys absolutely just showed up, and you guys just keep watching, and that's amazing to me, and I gotta thank you guys. It means a lot to me, honestly. So today's deck. I know I kind of threw some props at one of my old teammates, Joe Patton, a few videos back, and I'll probably talk about him every time we do GOAT format videos because he's just the king of GOAT format, honestly. And today I wanted to talk about a different duelist. Kind of the reason that this boy right here is on the mat. So my best friend, Doug Robinson, we played a lot of matches at our locals, which would eventually become an OTS, and we played way too many games. I mean, we're talking midnight prep sessions and everything else. And he turned me on to the 6 Samurai deck. And honestly, I've been playing it nonstop ever since. Some people say it's unfair. Some people say it's thoughtless, just too linear. And maybe you're right. But like the camaraderie that we share because of this deck is just amazing. So I wanted to share with you what his deck would look like if he didn't retire to play Magic. Now he plays Commanders, which is fantastic in Magic the Gathering. And I gotta say, I love that game. So just real quick, let me put up our dual centers today. 2 Legendary 6 Samurais I'm not using today. Because the third one's in the deck. So let's get you guys a deck list. So starting in the main deck, we have 2 copies of Fire Flint Lady. The single copy, Shatterfoil, if it decides to show up on camera there, of Grandmaster the 6. 1 copy Great Shogun Sheehan. 1 copy Legendary Secret of the 6. 3 copies Legendary 6 Samurai Kageki. 3 copies Legendary 6 Samurai Kazan. 2 copies Legendary 6 Samurai Mizuho. 2 copies Legendary 6 Samurai Shinai. 1 Secret 6 Fuma. 1 Secret 6 Hatsume. 1 Secret 6 Kizaru. And to round out the monsters, a single copy of Sheehan Squire. And then our spells are going to be the single copy, Called by the Grave. Single Different Dimension Reincarnation. 1 Divine Sword Phoenix Blade. 1 Gateway of the 6. 1 copy of Instant Fusion. 1 Living Fossil. 1 Monster Reborn. 1 Moon Mirror Shield. 1 copy Pot of Avarice. 1 Reinforcement of the Army. 1, 2, 3 copies of Sheehan's Dojo. 3 copies of Sheehan's Smoke Signal. 2 copies of 6 Samurai United. 2 copies Temple of the 6. And a single copy World Legacy Succession brings us to a 40-card main deck. Now, the extra deck. And I know that you guys are already expecting most of this. Yes, it is that loop. So if you're familiar with it, you already know. We do have the single copy Millenniumize Restrict. It's our only instant fusion target. We do use the single copy Boarload Savage Dragon. Single copy Herald of the Arclight. Single copy Legendary 6 Samurai Sheehan. That's right, all 3 of the copies I got from him. Again, most of this is actually the deck he retired from playing, so like I ended up getting it off of him, and we were playing more aggressive back then, so you actually played all 3. The single copy, though, in the main, or sorry, the extra, the single copy Naturia Beast, and that's all it for our synchros. Our Xyz monsters are Leviair the Sea Dragon, number 60 Dagaris the Timeless, and 1 copy Shadow of the 6 Samurai Sheehan. And then straight up to the links, we do have the single copy Apollosa Bow of the Goddess, double copies Battle Shogun of the 6 Samurai, single copy IP Masquerena, Single copy Isolde, Two Tales of the Noble Knights. Single copy Saryuja Skeldred. And single copy Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. So, it is absolutely the red-blue flood technique. Most of you will be aware of this. Some of you may not. I don't think it's as popular as it once was. And by once was, I mean like the couple of weeks right after the Battle Shogun was released. So yeah, I do hope that you like this deck. If you were just here for the list, I'd like to, again, thank you for showing up and celebrating the 500th subscriber, because that's awesome. Again, if you haven't already and you do enjoy the content or something here helped you, do consider subscribing yourself. And, of course, let your friends know. But class is dismissed if that's all you were here for. You guys have an excellent day. I know I am. And go watch another video or whatever it is that you enjoy doing. Just follow your bliss. Everybody else, let's kind of go over the card decisions, and then we'll save the combos for the combo video. So again, maybe I should have said something before I dismissed the class. But yes, there will be a combo video, and I'll explain how you generate the gateway consistently at a single copy, and, you know, kind of like the guts of the deck. So let's start back in the main deck. We do have the Fire Flint Lady. Now, this card came out in Battle of Legends Armageddon, and it's actually pretty sick. So if you control a warrior monster, you can special summon this from the hand. You can send this card from the field to the graveyard to special summon a level 4 lower warrior from the hand. And if you do, the opponent cannot target it with card effects this turn. You can use each effect once per turn. This will allow you to do two things. First off, it'll allow you to link 2 very rapidly to go into your Battle Samurai or Battle Shogun. And additionally, if you need the extension for your Bushido counters, look no further than this very inexpensive warrior card. And again, we're going to run 2 for consistency issues. Grandmaster, probably one of the best known. Again, one more time, let me take him out of the sleeve. I love dual terminal shatter foils. And I just wanted to show this one off rather than the super rares. So that's what I did. Grandmaster is very similar to Gravekeeper's Chief, actually, in that you can only control 1 face-up of this monster at a time. If you control a face-up 6 Samurai monster, he's a great extension. He'll allow himself to special summon from the hand. And when this card is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, target 1 6 Samurai in the graveyard, add that target to the hand. Again, he does not exclude himself. Let me know if there was an errata. I did not look before filming. But he used to be able to select himself, actually. And this makes for some fun recurrences. Again, single copy is really all you need. And again, once we get to Gateway, we can tutor this just with ease. We are going to use and utilize the single copy Great Shogun Sheehan. Now, it does not mesh the way you think it meshes with the Legendary 6 Samurai Sheehan, since the Legendary 6 can actually negate a spell trap once per turn. This character's effect says that your opponent can activate only 1 spell or trap each turn. If that activation is negated, then it doesn't count towards the 1. I'm pretty sure that ruling still holds up. That said, we get to choose on our opponent's first card. Either we let it go through and stop them from using any additionals, or we have the option to shut it down immediately. And then again, maybe they don't have a second spell trap. So it's kind of a hit or miss little mind game right there. Again, if this card would be destroyed, you can destroy a 6 Samurai monster you control instead. Due to the wording, that could be Legendary, that could be Secret, or that could be one of the original The 6 Samurai. As long as the 6 Samurai is in the name. Additionally, as an extender, if you control 2 or more Samurai monsters, 6 Samurai monsters, special summon this from your hand. So again, is it just another great extender? It helps us build boards very rapidly. Next up, we do have the single copy Legendary Secret of the 6. This effect, when you normal or special summon a Secret 6 monster or monsters, except damage step, you may special summon this from the hand. So again, quick 1-2 extension, allowing us to go straight into the Shogun and the Battle Shogun, will in fact allow us to get straight into Gateway. Or whatever else holds Bushido counters that you're interested in. Again, you can only use this effect once per turn, and then once per turn you can banish a level 4 or lower samurai in the graveyard. Until the end of the turn, this card's attribute level and attack and defense become the same as. And again, if we're going to go into the synchros, this could be very important, but that's about it. He's just an extender. We do run the 3 copies of Kageki, and he's very Marauding Captain-esque. Either one works. When this card is normal summon, you can special summon a level 4 or lower 6 samurai from the hand. And while you control a 6 samurai monster with a different name, this card gains an additional 1500 attack. So again, he's pretty advantageous for summoning. And in some of the other decks, especially asceticism builds, I'll run him, I'll run Kagemusha, and I'll run Elder, just so I have a lot of options to bounce around and go rapidly into the Legendary 6 Sheehan. And if you guys want, I will build that version too. That is absolutely no problem. But again, this is trying to get us into the quick 1-2 to get us where we want to be. Again, we're going to be running the 3 Kazans, and much like the Grandmaster, as long as we have another face-up 6 Samurai monster, we can special summon this card from the hand. While we control 2 or more other face-up 6 Samurai cards, this card gains an additional 300 attack defense. And if we're really honest, I do believe that will bring it up to the Grandmaster's stats, and it does. So it just goes full stat to the other one while retaining being a level 4. So we have 4 quick extensions there. Again, next is Mizuho. If you control Shinai, you can special summon this from the hand once per turn. You may tribute another face-up 6 samurai monster, then target a card on the field and destroy it. This is great for the red-blue combo. Once you have the equity in Bushido counters, there is an infinite loop to just build counters, and then, of course, by maintaining the Shinai, and again, I'll show you this during the combos video, you're able to just wholesale wreck the opponent's entire field. And one thing that was around back then that isn't now is Gores. So with Gores and Battle Fader really taking sort of a backseat, there are still some hand traps we have to worry about. Again, Effect Veiler can get us, Ghost Ogre can get us, a couple of things. But we relatively move with some impunity now. Infinite Impermanence can get you too. And then, of course, there's Shinai. And just like Mizuho, if you control the other one, in this case, if you control Mizuho, you may special summon this from the hand. And if this card on the field is tributed, target a 6 samurai monster in the graveyard, accept himself, and add it to your hand. And when I say accept himself, it's Shinai can never add a Shinai. So even if you have the second one already in the discard pile, it's still not a legal target. Going over to the Secret 6, we are going to run one of each. One Fuma, he's one of our only 2 tuners in the build. And both tuners are 1 stars, which is kind of important to notice. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, we can special summon a 6 samurai from the deck except Fuma. And if exactly 1 6 samurai you control and no other cards will be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish this from the graveyard instead, which is totally fine. We have Levier to pull them back anyway. Hatsume, you can banish 2 6 samurai monsters from the graveyard and or face up on the field and target 1 6 samurai in the graveyard except Hatsume to special summon it, and that's from the field effect. You can only use that once per turn, so it's a great extension, especially mid-game or if you've already started setting up a link board. And secondly, again, if exactly 1 6 samurai you control and no other cards you would control would be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish this card from the graveyard instead. And I believe they're all going to have that effect. And then single copy Kizaru. When this is special summoned, you can add from your deck to the hand 1 6 samurai with a different attribute from every monster that you already control. If exactly 1 6 samurai monster you control and no other cards will be destroyed by card effect, you can banish this from the graveyard instead. And again, this is really why Levier is here. They're built-in protections. You get 3 of them. Kizaru helps build the board as well, while still maintaining an excellent 1900 stat. And the last guy is our Sheehan Squire. Also a tuner. If a 6 samurai monster you control battles during during damage calculation, you can send this from the hand to the graveyard, and that 6 samurai monster cannot be destroyed by battle this turn. So he's actually part hand trap. He's tutorable through reinforcement of the army, and of course, summonable through gateway. And again, we can abuse this guy, so he's pretty fantastic. Additionally, I believe Fuma, yes, Fuma was definitely wind. Squire is going to be your out to Naturia Beast as well. Moving over to the spells, and most of this is actually pretty straightforward. So we are going to be using the one called by the grave. Again, just want to protect against the hand traps. Generally, you're not going to see too many hand traps. And things like Nibiru can still actually be quite a threat to you. And Nibiru is obviously not stopped by Called by the Grave. But that's neither here nor there right now. So, Called by the Grave, again, try to play through the hand traps. DDR, we're playing a lot of equips because you guys saw the Assault in the extra deck. This one, again, is going to discard a card, select one of my remove from play monsters, special summon it back and attack, equip it with this, whatever. Remove this card from the field, when this card is removed from the field, destroy the equipped monster. And again, equipment can't exist without the monster that it was attached to, so it'll actually clear the board of itself once you use that monster for a Link, Sync, Xyz, or what have you. And again, with the Secret 6 really working on banishing themselves, the DDR actually comes in quite handy sometimes. The Phoenix Blade is great for Warriors-based decks. And again, we needed something that kind of went with our theme here. So what we do is you can only equip this to Warriors, increase the attack by 300 points, and if this card is in the graveyard during your main phase, if this is in the graveyard during the main phase, by removing from play 2 warrior types from the graveyard, you can add it back to your hand. So we can banish cards to get it back. Then we could use the DDR to bring back one of those monsters, or you can use Leviair. It's all good. Gateway, the 6 Samurai. Each time a Samurai monster or monsters will be normal or special summons, so that's every instance of summon or summons. Place 2 Bushido counters on this. Remove counters in increments of 2 to activate the effects. If you only remove 2, from your side of the field, target a 6 Samurai or Sheehan effect monster, and it gains 500 attack until the end of the turn. And again, this allows you to attack for like billions of attack points if you really wanted to. If you do 4 counters, you get to add 1 6 Samurai from the deck or graveyard back to your hand. And again, this is going to be for all of our special summon characters. This will allow us to do the red-blue very fluidly. This will allow us to build boards with Kazan and Grandmaster, being able to just get them and continually replay them and just build links. And again, if we remove 6, target a Sheehan effect monster in our graveyard and special summon it. None of these are once per turn, and this will allow us to abuse our 1 tuner, abuse every monster in our deck, and of course, go for a Superman punch at the end. We do run the Instant Fusion, and that's for the Millennium Eyes Restrict. This is what's really going to help protect us from those hand traps. Very cool. Living Fossil, essentially another monster reborn by a different name that also happens to be an equipped card, which allows us to play through Isolde much better. Activate this card by targeting a level 4 lower monster in the graveyard, special summon it, equip it with this card, banish it when it leaves the field, which is fine because of Leviair and stuff. Again, when this card leaves the field, banish the equipped monster. The equipped monster loses 1,000 attack and defense, and its effects are negated. But again, we're doing it to build a board. We're not interested in the effects. So again, Living Fossil, great card. Monster Reborn, just the best extension there is. Moon Mirror Shield. Now, some of you may know this, some of you may not. If the equipped monster battles an opponent's monster during damage calculation, the equipped monster's attack and defense become equal to the attack and defense, whichever is higher, of the opponent's monster, plus 100. Okay, so let's just break that down real quick. I attack Blue Eyes White Dragon. I gain 3,000 because it's higher, plus 100. My attack is 3,100. I will run over any monster, and as long as Dragoon has already used its negate, we'll just run over Dragoon. It doesn't matter how many times it's negated and destroyed something. Doesn't matter, guys. So the Moon Mirror Shield, excellent. Rest of the effect. If this face-up card is sent from the field to the graveyard, pay 500 life points. Place it either on the bottom or the top of your deck. So you can restack this and reuse it. Pot of Avarice, again, we need the extension, and sometimes we need to put the monsters back into our deck, and there's a chance that we won't need to draw monsters, so much as we can also draw an extension spell or one of the equips that we didn't mill out with Isolde, and Pot of Avarice just fits the bill. Reinforcement, best warrior card, add a level 4 lower warrior from deck to hand. Dojo, another one of our counter cards. So every time a samurai monster or monsters is summoned, normal or special, this one gains a single counter. Now, you can send this card to the graveyard and special summon a samurai or Sheehan effect monster from the main deck, whose level is either equal to or less than the number of Bushido counters the card had when you sent it. So again, if we just do the 1, we can go after the Sheehan Squire or Fuma. On 2, I don't remember if there was a 2-star. There's plenty of 3s, plenty of 4s, a 5. And again, Sheehan effect monster would also mean the Great Shogun Sheehan. So we want to play 3 of that and maximize it because, again, it doesn't have a cap. Smoke Signal is the Samurai Tutor. This will allow you to add any level 3 or lower Samurai from your deck to your hand, so that's great. The Samurai Unite, so we only run this at 2, and again, guys, it caps out at 2. So again, every time the monster is summoned, we get a counter. This time it's a maximum of 2. And when you send this one from the field to the grave, you draw a card per counter that it had. So again, this is a draw 1, draw 2, or it's a placeholder for up to 2 counters. And if you're doing it that way, you want to always be ripping the counters off this and building them on whatever the other cards are, especially like Gateway. We do run 2 copies of the field spell. So this creates a weird imbalance between this and the Battle Shogun, which can come in handy. But again, it's just another placeholder, and it's another place to put the placeholder. Because again, this is a field spell this time. So, each time a samurai monster is normal or special summoned, again, it doesn't matter. It's instances. It could be 1, it could be 5. You're only going to get 1 counter each time this is done. Now, monsters your opponent control lose 100 attack for every Bushido counter this card has. And since we have the red-blue technique and can create infinite, every attack's a direct attack. It doesn't matter. And the last card is the World Legacy Succession. This is another extension. This is essentially Monster Reborn as long as you have links on board. So target a monster in the graveyard, special summon it to a zone the link monster points to, and you can only activate 1 per turn. And again, this is going to be great once we get into the extra deck and we see what we actually have there. Again, you can play all of this in 1 turn. So I want to run this real quick. The Restrict, once per turn when your opponent activates a monster effect, target that monster that the controller in the graveyard, equip it, and negate the effects. This card gains attack and defense equal to the equipped monster's attack and defense with the whatever. So this is how you're going to stop hand traps and especially Nibiru. That's really the punchline. Borload Savage, again, we get a nice 8-star. This is going to help you build extra negates as long as you can equip a fallen link to it. And again, we're going to be able to link build like crazy, so that's not going to be too much of an issue. Herald of the Arclight, when we have to go control and we need to put up a 4-star synchro. Any monster sent from the hand or main deck to the graveyard is banished. And then when a spell trap or monster effect is activated, you contribute this card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy the card. We do not need the last part because we're not playing rituals, so that's fine. We do have the legendary 6 Samurai Sheehan, Warrior Tuner plus non-warrior Samurai. Once per turn when the opponent activates a spell trap, quick effect, negate its activation, destroy it. If this face-up card on the field would be destroyed, you can pass the buck. You can destroy another face-up 6 Samurai that you control instead. And Naturia Beast, Earth Tuner, non-Earth, or non-tuner Earths. While this is face-up on the field, send the top 2 from the deck to the discard to negate the activation of any spell card being played and destroy it. For the Xyz, again, we have Levier. 2 3s, once per turn, detach material, special summon 1 banished level 4 lower monster that you have, and just bring it back to the field. Dagaris, again, this is great. It's any 2 4s, and we actually get the ability to pick between any of the 3 following effects. To activate any effect, you need to detach both materials. The first one, skip your next draw phase, draw 2 cards and discard a card, which is fine. Skip your next your next main phase 1. Also special summon a monster from the graveyard in defense position. Helps you build the board. Or skip the battle phase of your next turn and double the attack of a monster you control until the end of the turn. You can only use this effect once per turn, which is fine. We're going to use it for game anyway. Shadow of the Six, I just played him because I wanted an extra name of Six Samurai to help build counters. Once per turn during either player's turn as a quick effect, detach one Xyz material from this, target a face-up 6 Samurai monster you control with 2,000 or less attack. The original attack becomes 2k. This means Kageki at 2 becomes 2k, plus having the additional monster gives him the plus 15 to go to 35, which is kind of cool. Appaloosa for chain blocking effects. Battle Shogun real quick. 2 warriors, including a 6 samurai. If this is link summon, discard a card, add 1 card from the deck to your hand that has the effect that places Bushido counters. You can only use this effect once per turn, which is how we're going to get our gateway, guys. Each time a samurai monsters is normal or special summon to a zone this card points to, give this a Bushido counter. Gain 100 attack to this card per Bushido counter on your field. So that's all the spots. IP Masquerena lets us mess around during the opponent's turn if we need to build. Also, that monster will be not able to be destroyed by opponent card effects. Isolde needs a little bit of talking. This is 2 warriors. If this is link summon, add a warrior monster from your deck to your hand. For the rest of this turn, you cannot normal summon set or special summon monsters with that name, nor activate their effects. You can send any number of equipped spells with different names from the deck to the graveyard to special summon a warrior monster from your deck, whose level equals the number of cards sent. And again, that second effect is what we need. It's a once per turn. I think they're both once per turn. Yes. And this actually helps us build the board again. Saryuja, again, we're going to be able to get the 4 different names rather easily. And this will allow us in order, because we can do all of the effects. We can give power to the monsters in the zones this is pointing to. Once per turn, we can get that extra that extra special summon. And when it is link summoned and we did use 4 different names, we can draw 4 cards, place 3 at the bottom of the deck in any order. This lets you correct things. Last card, Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. I can't talk about this one enough. 4+ effects. It's a link 5. We can use a monster that our opponent controls as one of them. And we can use IP Masquerena for another. 2 spots. Play this during the opponent's turn, sort of like a extra deck kaiju. When this is link summoned, you can negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls. It is unaffected by opponent's activated effects unless they're specifically targeting this card. And once per turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect that special summons a monsters from the graveyard, you may negate that activation. So again, it just lets you kind of vanilla the board while vacuuming up a card that it basically has no chance to say no to. Because while it is part of the effect, it's also part of playing the card, and we know how that goes. So, I do hope everybody enjoyed this, and if you sat through the whole thing, thank you. Yay, 500 subs. Let's see if we can get another 500 before the end of the year. Maybe we can actually end it on 1,000. And I'm going to go ahead and get you guys that combo video as well. So, if you guys are interested in that, I'm sure it's already up. You guys have an excellent day. See you next video.